Hey, Jimmy.
Hey,
What's
I'm
up?
not a supervisor, but I did want to bring something up.
Okay.
When I first flew in, I was pretty new to 5M altogether, and I got sent to the Bahamas because I interfered with an active scene. So, my question is, we're constantly um, coming across other people interfering with, let's say, if we're handling a robbery or on a chase, and there's other vehicles that are constantly trying to interfere, or they ram us, or they, like today, for example, the we were on a chase and a car just it was smoking and it stopped working, and then another vehicle just came by, picked them up, and then they continued. I mean, are we able to put a stop to that, or isn't that them interfering with?
So the second that a car starts ramming you, the PD response has usually been to code red that vehicle. If a vehicle's interceding in your chase by ramming you, essentially they're using what would be considered a deadly weapon to try to stop your fight. So
Mhm.
at that point, you can code red them, which means you can start pitting them. You can start trying to push them off the road. If it gets to the point where you need to shoot tires, put down spike strips, do all that stuff, you all can stop those people and arrest them. I know you can't always spare the units, but that is an option to you all. Once they start ramming you, you can code red them.
Can we make it that it's basically against the Bible rules for them to be interfering when we're basically dealing with
So
this situation?
if it's a third party, like so, say you're chasing triads and GSF shows up and starts ramming you. There are situations where that would be against the rules. However, as long as the total group that is involved in the heist, meaning not only the ones that were at the bank, but also the ones staged up to interfere along the way, as long as they don't exceed six, it's fine.
Mm.
There, people can stage up cars to block, to ram, to switch into along the way. That's perfectly fine. That's all just part of planning a heist, as long as they don't exceed that group limit. And as
Okay.
long as another group that's unrelated to them doesn't jump in and get involved. That's not to say that GSF and Triads can't band together to rob a bank, but it just means that if GSF wasn't part of it, they can't come and try to interfere after the situation's already gotten police
Mm.
attention.
Yeah. Also, so when it comes to those type of things, like when people are, say, you're in a chase and cars are coming up trying to pitch you or whatnot or whatever like that, you're more than welcome to scream at them and tell them that this is their last chance. And if they don't like leave the scene and they do it again, you're more than welcome to mag dump them at that point because they're not heeding your warnings and you're telling them, especially if they're doing it at super dangerous speeds and stuff like that.
Also, to add on to the situation that you gave us, the smoking car, like I was in that scene, and I feel like a really common thing here from the cop side is if something happens, I think the go-to thing for cops is they immediately think that it's a rule break. Just how you said, right? I was
Mhm.
already, if you're talking about the smoking scene at the end, right?
Mhm.
In Polito, yeah, I got out of the car, I stole a car, and I went to go pick him back up. So it was
No,
no,
no, it was a different scene, and me and John Smith were there
hold on, let me pull
earlier.
it up.
Yeah, by Alta. No, no, that's fine. It's just like, I don't know. Some of you might be aware. I'm a sheriff's deputy spiritually, so just thinking about that. Like, if we're in an active scene, most of the time, pedestrians or civilians, they will not interfere. Like, regardless, even if we're on a chase and then
Right.
the vehicle goes down, no one will interfere because it's
And
PD.
that's right. And that's in the real world that works fine, but at the end of the day, with this being a video game, the
Mhm.
criminals only have so many mechanics they can use to plan out a heist and try to set up traps and tricks along the way.
Yeah.
They don't have access to, all of the possibilities that a real world criminal would have.
Makes
Um,
sense.
so one of the few things that they are able to do is, block, pit, ram. It's not the most fun interaction for cops, but it is a valid tool for criminals to use in a chase. Um, I will say that it shouldn't be used excessively, but there's nothing wrong with them using that as part of their plan. and it's just one of the few things that they have access to. It's kind of something that is a necessity for us.
Makes sense. No, it definitely makes it more fun.
Also, when it comes to like those car swaps and stuff like that, as I said, they are allowed to do one, but if they do any more after that, you're also more than welcome to shoot a tire with a pistol and stuff like that. He's like, because at that point they're just prolonging it forever.
Yeah. And if they
Well,
ever
that-
violate any of their conditions or agreements,
Yeah.
you're also free to then negate your own agreements with them.
Yep.
It's something about real life versus the game. In real life, there is like legitimate fear from civilians toward cops. Like they don't want to mess with them, especially when there's a scene going. Like a lot of people stay away from it just because they just don't be. It seems like in the game there is no fear toward PD. They just think that, well, if there's a cop, I'm just going to shoot. So we can't really.
And that's one thing Kilo and I have
invoke
been
fear
discussing
into
a solution to. Or at least something to help with it.
Yeah, for when it
Yeah.
comes to the ambushes, yeah, it's like we're talking about a couple things.
Yes, Ira, go ahead.
Are we allowed to discuss server rules right now?
Yeah.
So the rule against, or there's a rule that states that if there's more than one person in a store robbery, we have to give them one demand, even if
Yes.
we have no hostage. Can we review why that's a rule? Because it doesn't make sense. If you can bring the numbers down to do a breach, why can't we breach?
I know why that's a rule, and that's because of way back in the day, it used to be like right as soon as well, not right back in the day, but like 6 months ago, right when we had the server one, right when all this like the new stores and stuff like that came out, that new robbables and stuff, we would go ahead and rob stores, and cops, we would have, we would do 2 people or 1 person in there, and cops would just run straight in there, tase you as you're like opening a safe, and then put you in handcuffs in all a span of like 10 seconds.
Also, one reason this isn't a reason why it was put into place, but it is a added side effect of it. Not requiring the hostage and only requiring 2 operatives in the store also allows for people to hit stores more easily without having to find a new hostage every 15, 20 minutes, which can be kind of difficult with our current population. It's not impossible, it's just there's only so many people and there's a lot of people robbing stuff. So yeah, I think Kilo explained it pretty well as to why it became a thing.
I got you. It's just a little awkward, but I get it.
It is, but it's another one of those things like what I was saying earlier. We can only take reality so far before the game stops being fun.
One thing was, it also like do you really need a hostage for a store robbery? Like if you're going into a 7-Eleven to rob a 7-Eleven, you're going in there, you're grabbing the register, and you're leaving. Really, like.
Very few people actually stay to hit the safe.
Yeah.
And even then, if you do stores, like if there's a major police scene north in Polito and you're doing stores down in Grove, you have a good 15 minutes before the fastest police car is going to get there.
15 minutes? What are you driving, the MCC?
Are you walking?
Give me an SCU car, man. I'll be down there in like 5 max.
Well, still.
I had a question, sort of.
You're fine. Go ahead.
So sometimes whenever we're like in a chase and we have to have like our lights and sirens on, the locals like will freak out and crash into you, and it makes us like lose them like all the time. So I was wondering if there's like anything that y'all are working towards that, or if that's just something we have to deal with.
So that is native GTA mechanics for how the locals behave.
I've
So
been
in
more servers, it's been like that in every server.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
in
terrible.
native GTA, all of the NPCs, try to get out of the way of vehicles running lights and sirens. Unfortunately, sometimes they make bad decisions as to how to get out of the way, and also when you have 5 or 6 cops chasing a criminal, they don't know which way to turn, so they just go somewhere. So there's not really much we can do about that because it's just native GTA stuff.
Okay.
The only thing that we could do, which would be, because we're already redoing the entire police pack, and this would be even more work than that, is we would have to switch to a lighting system called EOS, which separates the lighting styles of normal GTA and the actual lighting on the cars. And technically, with EOS, you could have full lights, full siren, and not have the GTA native thing kick in where locals try to get out of the way. They just wouldn't think you have light, but you do.
Mhm.
That's the only thing we can do. But the unfortunate part is ELS doesn't work well with one sync. It certainly won't work well with over 30 population, and the cars are far and few between. So
Okay. Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So, does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about in terms of like how the city's going and when it comes to interacting as a
Or anything when it comes to gangs too, as well.
yeah, any problems you're having with gangs, stuff like that. If it's an issue, this is the part where I want to hear about issues. I feel like I saw someone with their hand up.
My thing, my question isn't related to gangs. It's more what you were saying earlier about the healing scene stuff. Since Michael is also a EMT, I was wondering, is there a way for, since I'm an EMT and cop, to use like the EMT bags without having to find a computer to switch jobs on the scene if I need to help pick up people while I'm out on an active scene?
No, the only way
You
we
shouldn't
could
be
do
picking
that would
people up on an active
Yeah.
scene. Even EMS aren't supposed to be doing that.
Okay.
yeah, there are very specific situations where EMS will pick people up on scene, and most of the time it's related to it being like literally right at storm. In those situations,
Okay.
we will grab people on scene. And there have been certain RP scenarios where we've been cool with it just because the RP was built out in a way that the person was playing, oh, I broke my leg, I'm just laying down because my leg's broken and there's like a lot of people around. We've done that. But in general, no, EMS should not be picking people up on scene. The only way we could make that possible for cops to be able to do something like that would be for all cops to be able to revive people, which would then kind of defeat the purpose of EMS. But
Okay. Well, the reason I
that-
was asking is because the last time I was in city, I was clocked in as an officer, and it wasn't part of any chase or whatever, but they ended up having like a 4 or 5 car wreck, and like they had like a bunch of people, citizens just laying on the ground. So I wasn't able, and I could only fit so many people in the car at a time to bring the zone. And I couldn't help everyone at the same time without going back and forth a couple times.
Understandable. In those situations, what you should do as a cop is you should load up as many of your fellow officers as you can.
Well, no, they were officers. They were just regular citizens that got in the car wreck.
Okay. Well, then you load up
Backup.
you ask for backup. You load up as many as you can. If there is no backup, you take the ones you can. Maybe you go back for more, see if you can get them. You just do the best you can. But yeah, in general, that shouldn't ever be a thing with EMS picking people up just at the scene.
Okay. Yeah, that was my only question, is because like they were like they were like over near the that hardware store that's like in Sandy, so it was kind of
Yeah.
a far back and forth commute.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only question I had.
All right. Copper, I think you. Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned something about Polito, the bank, and since it's like so far away and sometimes it takes us forever to get there, I was wondering if there could be like a buffer between like the hacks or something to make it take a little longer so we have a chance to get there in
Yeah.
time.
So CapTech here, our lead dev, he is working on a huge overhaul of our criminal system. That's going to include our heists. We are looking at methods for prolonging them because most of them in general are going too fast and cops aren't getting the time they need to respond. So we are already aware of the issue and we're working on a fix for it.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else have any issues, any complaints they want to bring up? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to move on to the part where I'm going to ask you all about things we could be doing to motivate PD, get people to apply, and get people to stay on duty. I'm looking for, all gangs and businesses sort of. We already spoke about it a little bit, but we didn't really touch on it all the way, Hunter. So one thing that we're doing with all the gangs and businesses is we're looking for more incentives to give recognized groups for, hard effort activity, things like that. Obviously, with the businesses that we have, where we have the small job system that some of you may be familiar with that can reward them with a little bit of extra money while they're on duty. That's not the most feasible thing for PD because you all need to be out on the streets, not just sitting at PD. But what I would like to do is I'd like to open the floor up to you guys to see what kind of suggestions you all might have for, keeping people on duty, wanting people to be active and be in PD generally, if anyone has any ideas. Good talk. All right. That's fine. We're still working on a lot of stuff, trying to get things balanced. The biggest takeaway from tonight that I wanted to stress was that we need to get our organization and our sort of discipline under wraps. We have a lot of cops running around being real loosey-goosey with the policies and with the rules. We've got a lot of cops ignoring scene limits, ignoring the force for force limits. And in general, we've just been hearing a lot of complaints about a lack of RP. I want to see you guys I want to see you guys interacting with your suspects. I want to see you talking to them. If they're a dickhead, I'm not expecting you to have a conversation, be friendly and everything. If they're just, being a nuisance and being a pain, you don't have to interact with those people very much. Just get the job done and get them out. But a lot of our criminals aren't that bad. We should be engaging with them, talking to them a little more, building sort of a repertoire, or not repertoire, a little bit of a rapport. Just sort of having that relationship, whether it be hostile or not, those interactions count. Just so many messages coming through. Another thing, when people are planning out big RP scenes where they've gotten vehicles, they've gotten clothes, they've printed documents, they've gone over the top of any other criminal to give you all an interesting scene that you all may not have seen before. Please be a little lenient with them. Obviously, we all know that they're criminals and that they're robbing that bank. We're not dumb. But for the sake of the RP, entertain it. You don't have to poke every little hole you can in those scenes when they happen. Let people experience it. If they make a mistake, jump on it. And, let it build out into an interesting scene. You could sit there and have a long conversation with them and go back and forth to make them prove that they're really doing what they're doing. You could even call them on their bullshit. Say they stole a bank truck and they're pretending to be bank employees and they say, oh, we're just moving money to a different bank. Okay. Follow them to that other bank and watch them put that money up. At least let the scene keep going. Let's see. Hold on. I see some messages that I'll. Okay, you all are talking about disciplinary stuff.
They're on
but
the
yeah.
bank truck stuff right now.
What?
They're on the bank truck stuff right now about whether or not it's KOS because you're killing the guards and stuff.
I would say no, guys. The guards at the end of the day are locals. I get that they're also, like law enforcement locals, but we can't just KOS because someone shot the guards. It's not even a felony in our penal code to kill locals because at the end of the day, let's be real, guys, they're NPCs. Even me on my Chief Justice character, I accidentally run one over all the time. Like in
Oh,
terms of
you're getting
RP,
knocked out.
that's hella sus. But like, what am I supposed to like lose all of that because I accidentally didn't brake in time and ran over a local? No, it just is what it is. Everything in the MDT is up to date with the penal code. I promise you that. You may have just not looked at it in a long ass time. But yeah, so we should definitely not be KOSing on something like that. In general, that's another thing. We don't need to go hard as fuck right off the bat with these people. You know, the second you get on scene, your job isn't to, fuck up their world. Your job is to interact with them in RP. If they're being shitters, well, then treat them like shitters. But if they're just trying to hit the bank, then engage. Don't just immediately think about how you can kill them or how you can immediately get them for anything. Just try to let the scene play out. And I've been saying the same thing to criminals, and Kilo here has been with me and has been doing it too. We're telling them to increase the quality of RP. We're telling everyone to increase the quality of RP because that's what we're all here for, and we're making that transition. We're not going to have this lazy, half-ass shit anymore. Everyone needs to step it up a notch.
With that being said, also please report people who are breaking rules.
Yes.
If you notice that crims are going to Zona, well, all cops aren't down. And then they want to talk shit to you after there and act like they broke the rule of remembering what happens after you go to Zona. Ignore them, clip it, and ship it. You don't have to entertain their bullshit. But also don't feed into it. Don't get mad. The scene happened. It's over with. We'll deal with it as a staff if we need to. But let's try and if they're trying to get something out of you, don't give them that joy. Let them try. Ignore them and move on with your day.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said earlier, even if they're not necessarily breaking rules and they're just consistently being shitty or giving, low quality RP, let me know. Let Kilo know. There are punishments for gangs that consistently do that crap. They can lose their whitelisting, they can lose perks, they can lose access to black market, whatever we need to do. We will do it to make sure they get the message. At the end of the day, the whole point of this is to keep criminals and cops and civilians and everyone kind of balanced so that everyone's happy, but also everyone gets to do what they want to do.
Omac had something that I think was pretty decent too.
Okay.
Up there, he said, "There's no incentive right now to make plans for heist when he can do what's worked the last 100,000 times as a crim."
That's true. But that isn't stepping up the quality of RP, which is something that we're doing across the server, OMAC. If Forgotten, for instance, as a whole, continues to just provide low quality RP for every scene with cops, you all aren't going to receive any perks ever. That's something that we talked about in our meeting was, us trying to incentivize you all as gangs, talking about, changing up some black market stuff and how you all interact. Those are all things that we're willing to do, but we're not going to do it for gangs that aren't engaging quality RP. That's the incentive. The other incentive is that I'm not saying every bank has to have a great grand scheme. What I'm saying is that every bank needs to have RP. Yeah. The
Stop
big thing I
pulling up in
mentioned
cars that you
earlier.
guys own as well. That's one thing.
Like,
Yeah,
also,
think about that, guys.
not everything is going to be realistic. I see Omark's comment about just unrealistic. It's a video game. Sometimes we're going to put it as realistic as we can in the sense that it's also still just a video game.
But no, Omek, I'm not saying making a whole heist plan where you have vehicles staged up and you have people in wait. Yeah, Omek, you can also raise your hand. We can invite you to the stage too.
I'm
not saying any of that.
Our new cars are completely retuned. The cars we have now do not match the handling of the new cars by no means. And we were trying to get them released. I've just had a frick ton of my plate, and Snow has helped me, but there's just a lot of cars to get done, a lot of liveries.
There's just too many cars.
What?
But Omek,
the-
what I'm mostly talking
Mm.
about is getting rid of that lame ass script we all do at banks and heists and stuff, where you roll up with your hostage and you wait for the cops. The cops show up. They walk in bored. Hey, how's the hostage doing? Okay, what are your demands? Okay, here's my demands. All right, let me know when you're done. Like, it gets the job done, but it's just boring as shit. Have a conversation. Make a little bit of drama about it. When they come in, they're like, how's everyone doing? Be like, I'm doing all right. I'd be doing a lot fucking better if you gave me, and start making demands. Start, being just something. Start RPing. That's the point I'm making. That
The
being
only
said,
problem with having the
it
cars that
also
we
doesn't
have
hurt
ready-
to plan out heists and stuff, because that is also cool. But you don't have to do that for every heist. I'm never going to tell you to do that. That's a lot.
Dude, plans for the heist and stuff can be as simple as you just stashing bikes somewhere and you guys just driving over to them in the middle,
Yeah.
like, going on with the chase that goes on for a minute and then just going over to your bikes and taking off. Like, nothing crazy.
Or even
Wouldn't-
planning a specific set of jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to make an elaborate heist plan like it's GTA Online, but engage with the cops a little more as a criminal, and as a cop, engage with the criminals a little more. Again, I'm not asking for the Oscars here. I'm just asking for you all to talk and have an interaction. Before you go, Wonder, I think Freeman joined up first. So Freeman, if you want to get your say in.
Yeah, so we need to have a discussion about, being able to, what's that word I'm looking for? To, shoot, I'm sorry. I was right in the middle of cooking dinner and my mind just got buggered up. But
Snow for no reason. Is that what we need a reason to do? Because you don't need it.
no, so for instance, we got a gang that is constantly going back to their base and locking the gates and barricading themselves in there.
Okay.
Is that a pretty common thing for gangs to do?
No, I would say that I'd say two things to that. One, PD does have in-city methods for dealing with crap like that. It's called a warrant. If you all show me documented proof of them doing that crap, trust me, we've signed warrants on triads for the exact same shit at least twice now.
So we've actually talked to Snow or some other people about it, about moving forward with that. And they're going, well, we got to have a lot of stuff before we can actually try to get a warrant.
Well, and one thing you need to keep in mind, I don't know if you're part of CID or not, but CID and GIU, when it gets going, and any of those other organizations might also have things going on that might make them do things differently. Now, I don't know if that's the case here. We only have like two or three whitelisted gangs right now, so it's a limited number that you could be talking about. But
I won't go into
Yeah,
specifics,
basically-
but it's something completely. It's the same thing, but we're going a different route with it.
right, so it might just be that. That being said, as a lieutenant, you are always more than free to submit a warrant request with me. I'm fine with any Sergeant Plus submitting warrants on things that they think are appropriate. However, I would advise that all of you, before submitting warrants on big groups or notable individuals, to at least check with CID about it. Because at the end of the day, our CID investigations, I know those of you that aren't in CID don't always like hearing this, but they're the ones that end up hitting crims hardest at the end of the day. Because they're the ones that end up securing the big raids, the RICOs. You all get all the information, do a lot of the groundwork for them, but it's those big investigations that kind of sign the death warrant for groups. So be a little patient with them on that. But, we're always open for a dialogue. I know that even if Snow won't talk to you, if you need to have a conversation about it, I can probably get Snow to come and talk to me about it, and we can have a conversation, try to figure it out. But that's another thing. PD communication. Snow, you're one that I wanted to talk to about this. When people come up and ask you a question, maybe talk to them a little more instead of just being the cop that always says no. And that's not just Snow, it's a lot of different cops, but Snow's an example. Engage with people a little more. When a regular citizen comes up to get a weapons license, he doesn't want to get told, I'm too busy, fuck off. He give him an explanation. Hey, we're really busy, we're slammed, we've got a bunch of actives, we've got a shooting over off of fucking Hawick, whatever. just give them those couple of extra seconds where you give them that extra little interaction that explains why you can't talk to them. Don't just tell them to buzz off and act like you're not interested, because then it makes it seem like you're not interested in RPing with them at all, and that's not fun for anybody. Doesn't mean you have to be nice to everybody. Just try to interact with people that come up to you, at least a little bit.
Yeah. An answer to Jimmy Choo's question about citations and tickets. The way that we do citations and tickets is that we don't place it into an instant report. We just do it into just a normal standard report. So there's two
Wait,
different.
why don't you all do citations and tickets in instant report? They're still criminal charges.
Of course, but in terminology, that's what the report section is mainly for. Roadside citations.
If you don't
But then it doesn't
record,
go on their profile.
yeah, then it doesn't go on their actual profile, like on their record that they were convicted of that. It's just in a report that people have to search.
And you can't charge them unless you do an incident report.
You can do /find.
It doesn't
You
work.
can, but you should be doing incident reports for those, Snow, just because that's how it goes on their record that they have that.
Okay.
Anytime that you're issuing a fine of any sort, even for those infractions, it should be in the incident reports.
Yeah, because /fine wasn't working for quite some time. So in order for us to find people for hunting and fishing licenses or even gun licenses, I've been using Insta Report.
Wait, I think PD should also be able to bill.
That's
Pretty sure.
possible, but I know /fine quit working long time ago when we switched over to the MDT.
Did you guys say anything nice about it?
Yeah, I believe somebody said something, and I think that the response was, "This is the way we're going with finding people."
Really, finding /find doesn't work. I was able to do it yesterday.
This is
Cap,
back
do you
when
know
we.
anything about it if you're here? About if we ever looked at returning /fine after we got the new MDT?
This was back when we first switched over to the MDT finding.
Right. That was when we updated our MDT to the newest version.
Correct. And I didn't, and we tried to find after that, and we put in, I think we told Cap about it. And I think the response, I don't know if it was from Cap or somebody else, I'm not sure. Don't let me put words in anybody's mouth. Was we were going to go to finding from the MDT so we can keep it tracked.
I got you. Okay. I have an idea or two I want to work with on that. Give me some time to play with some ideas. I have a couple solutions that might resolve that pretty easily without Cap having to write in a new command. It might be that you all end up with the same ability as restaurants, or any business where it's like /bill, where you can do that for licenses and it'll be the same cut as it is the MDT fine. It might be a new MDT charge that is a different color that doesn't come up as a regular conviction. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But you make a valid point.
I don't have a problem using MDT with finding people.
Right, but when people are getting gun licenses and hunting licenses, it doesn't make much sense.
Yes and no, because it puts a report to the actual fine. So that way, if we need to go back and research who did what, we have a name, a hard name to the fine to find who did it.
I got you.
I'm all about documentation and being able to go back and look through everything. I like the idea of using the MDT to find somebody.
Right. Sorry, I'm just making notes as we go. It's the easiest way for me to remember stuff. Okay. Wonder, did you get your chance to go?
No. This isn't really PD. This is for whenever we have the factions meeting. I just want to mention it before I forget.
Okay, go for it.
Yesterday I don't know, it wasn't yesterday. There was a day where we had someone, I don't know who was doing it. Someone kept reporting their vehicle stolen when they were in it, and they were doing it anonymously. That shit makes me so mad when they do that, because I don't know if it's you reporting it stolen.
Yeah, so if they report it anonymously, it doesn't count. They didn't report it stolen, some random did, doesn't count. The person who owns it has to come to PD.
That's what I'm saying. But it's
if PD wants to be more flexible and allow people to call it in, that's fine. But as of right now, the standard is I've always treated and I've been told is that they have to come to PD and report it stolen to you.
Yeah, no, that's what our SOPs say. But
Okay.
what I was saying was like it's so low effort because we had that happen, and then the vehicle drove by me, and we pulled them over, and they started crying like babies, and it's so annoying. Like, just don't do that. Like, I just want that to be brought up at the faction meeting, maybe. Like, I don't know why people are doing that. It happens so many times where we, not even like vehicles, just reports in general. They'll like 911, and it'll be an anonymous call. Like, why are you doing that if you're trying to tell us something?
That just goes with the low tier RP like that. It just people using personal cars for banks and stuff like that, and then of course just saying their car is stolen from all the way up as they're at the bank saying my car's been stolen.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like I've been saying over and over, better quality RP is the central goal right now. We're not gonna be dealing with the low quality crap. We're not gonna be tolerating it. If people consistently are putting up low quality RP, they're gonna, I will step in and I will have people demoted from PD if I have to. I will have gangs. They'll lose their whitelisting, they'll lose their perks, businesses, owners will lose their businesses. Low quality RP is just not flying anymore. Now, again, doesn't have to be over the top. We just want people showing effort again instead of just everyone kind of half-assing everything. So the low quality crap with cars, yeah, we'll bring that up. It'll come up with the whole bad RP talk. Anything else?
No, that's all for me.
Okay. Anybody else? Raise your hands. Now's your time.
Well, to go back on way back, we can't bring the new cars in as far as the new PD fleet because the current fleet's actually breaking our new fleet as far as lighting goes. I loaded the new fleet by themselves. Lights work perfectly fine. I load in our current fleet with those cars, and it breaks all lights. So the only way to get the new car fleet working is to get rid of our old car fleet.
So let's do it.
The new one's not ready. It's not ready.
finished.
Oh, because
one thing that is kind of slowing that down, guys, is the people that own the vehicles getting replaced. People who own things that aren't just like the SUV vehicles we're keeping, like
It's
all the
in
Explorers and the Chargers and stuff.
charges that people own. This is why I put an announcement out asking who has a personal vehicle. If you own one that you brought from the dealership, let me know and tell me how much you paid for it.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do about all those cops that bought their Chargers and stuff that's gonna be getting.
That's one thing as well. So from the emergency dealership, why is the money from there going to PDM? It's a business that's not run by PDM.
I don't know. Probably was just set up that way.
It's not run by PD. It just has to be attached to a society account that exists.
Yeah, so I've been told that all the money that's being paid for by, like, someone goes and buys an SCU car, the money's being pocketed by
Wait.
PDM.
No, it's not. The society account is attached to, I think it's PDM or something like that, which was a created society that No Job has access to.
Okay, so the money is going somewhere that just nobody can access.
Technically, yeah, it's just being vanishing. It's going into a society fund that exists, but No Job actually has a society.
Yeah, we don't even have a boss menu for that. So the only way to get it would be for someone with database access to start yoinking money out of there.
If anything, it would go to like the state. It would go to like either the state's budget or it would go to.
Yeah, it's not like we actually spend the money on anything at state.
I mean,
it's just the money.
It's just a dead zone for money, really.
There isn't that many vehicles that have been purchased. I think it's a total of maybe 5 to 7, at the most 10 vehicles that have been
I don't know,
purchased.
Snow. You have the list. How many you got?
I'm at 7 so far.
Okay.
So you can see all those vehicles if you go and look in the garage. Especially if the main guy.
Right, you can see them if you go through and look through all of them. We got a list. Just that's one of the things that slow it up. there's always a lot of different factors that people don't realize every time we update something. So, right now he's saying that it's going to break all of our lights. Not only is it going to mean that we're getting rid of the cars for people who have bought them, but it also means that we have to get rid of every single PD car that's out there.
I'm okay with that, honestly.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
it's
the
also a
plan. It's
couple
just
other
takes time.
factors, and being the fact that John really doesn't know that much about cop cars. There's a lot more to cop cars than there is to civilian cars. We have at least 4 different liveries that we had to custom build ourselves and wrap every car with. That's very different per car. We have the lighting that needs to be figured out. Just to get the car pack in is going to be a pain in the butt. Not to mention, we want to get everything in one pack of all the cop cars so that we know all the car coils and everything are going to work properly and not get jacked up. However, there's more than just that, because now I have got to do a ton of database work to get us registered, like 15 Chargers, 15 Explorer. Like, there's a lot of work with that just to get our regular fleet. Then I got to go back and wipe out all the little cars and do all that kind of stuff. And that stuff only management do, because only management has access to database. And basically, there's not many people that want to actually work with cop cars, really. Snow's been helping out for the past, I think, week and a half to maybe 2 weeks of deliveries. But even then, we've run into a couple of snags with them. So, cop cars are hard to work on in general. And it's seemingly, right now, I'm the only person on the entire dev team that really knows what they're doing with the cop cars, to just be straight honest.
I don't know shit about cars.
On top of that, I've got a massive update we're coming out with, pretty much overhauling almost all of our criminal stuff due to bugs that have been found, due to like a lot of stuff that needs to be just reworked. So I've got that massive thing. Optimization would slow me down a ton. I have spent not only the hours of research, but just hours of work and nothing but optimization. So I am slammed with everything. Trying to get the cop cars out is one of the things on my list, but we have cars. They work to a point. So
cop cars will likely be coming after the criminal update, is what Cap is hinting at. I don't think he liked I said that. Sorry, Cap.
No, I was dragging my freaking. I got a lot going on personally.
Yeah,
right now.
basically, Cap is trying to get all the criminal stuff optimized now because that's a bigger hit on our server and that's a bigger attention drawer. Because let's be real, if you're not a cop in the server, most of the people are criminals, right? Most of our cops have criminals. So he's trying to get that worked out. He's trying to get it optimized, make sure all the heists are working. There's no more bugs, no more big issues, and revitalizing it. And then after that, we're planning on focusing on ED, EMS, first response stuff. That's the big next push. The cars. Oh, is that wrong now?
Well, to a point, yeah. It's going to be mixed in the middle. It's not going to be a huge update, but it's mixed in the middle.
Right, but it's the next push after criminal.
Yeah. On
So
top of that, we've also been, as far as management anyway, we've had a lot of meetings and we're talking a lot and a lot of stuff because of this boost that's coming. I'm having to set up a whole nother server as basically a backfall just in case we get DDoSed. Because it's bound to happen. Every server that has always got DDoS at least once. So I'm literally setting up an entirely new server as a backfall to when we do get DDoS, we can switch to it and keep the server running. So we've had that. I've had meetings with the dev team. I still needed to actually wrap that up. I haven't even wrapped that up yet. And I got college and I'm having an AC issue with my house. To say my plate's not overflowing with crap. Crazy.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that Cap is the only one on the dev team that can really do something from start to scratch. So be patient with him when it comes to these new updates and these new features. Me and Hunter do the best with what we can. We try to take what Cap makes and we try to build it out to stuff for you all. But at the end of the day, Cap is the one that's doing all of the legwork, making all of this stuff work, getting everything optimized, getting new systems written. And that's a lot of work for one guy to do just all the time. So just be patient with him. Things are coming, and your all's cars are going to get replaced. It's just a matter of time when we get it all done properly so that we can do it right the first time and not deal with a bunch of mess along the way. We've done police car swaps multiple times before. And some of the people here, like Thompson and Kilo, can attest that a lot of our car swaps in the past for cops have gone so messy. We're just trying to do it right. On the topic of new stuff for cops, it's not really for cops, but something y'all should be aware of is we're looking at a change of prison situations.
Oh wait, before we move on to that.
Well, hold on. I'm just mentioning it really quick. So
Oh,
just 1
okay.
second. When that happens, there's going to be some new mechanics with it, and I would like to take a moment when it happens to sort of take PD to prison and show them around, because there's going to be some interesting stuff that they need to be aware of to help you all respond to prison-related incidents after that new system comes about. Snow?
Okay, so on the last topic of cars, can we get, even though we're not getting a new fleet because we're busy just trying to get them sorted and get them ready, can we get a tweak to the SCU cars? Now, with some of the personal cars that are out there that are being used for crimes, none of our SCU cars can keep up with it.
I will talk with John about it.
Even in S Plus, like they just can't keep up.
Right. I'll talk to John about it. I know that we had a conversation a while back when we first decided to replace the fleet about how the Mustang and the Camaro are kind of dog turds.
Well, it's not just that; it's the ZR1 as well.
It's what?
The ZR1.
See, I've heard mixed reviews about that. I've heard plenty of cops say that the Corvette's fine.
The Corvette's fine. It's just there are cars out there on the crimp side that just dust it no matter what, like the BMW M8.
Okay. So I will talk to John about taking a look at the handling on all of this new cars. Like I said, I'm going through, we're making lists of everything that needs to be done, all the suggestions, everything you all are saying tonight. I'm literally writing down on a notepad, trying to get everyone's opinions organized and find common ground, because we keep solving problems for criminals or we solve problems for cops, but we aren't solving problems for both sides at once. So we're trying to get things organized, and the biggest help you all can provide to that is just rolling with some of the suggestions I gave you tonight. Trying to be a little more on top of your game for RP. Supervisors, manage all of your officers more effectively. If a scene is, just sort of falling apart or not really going anywhere, take charge, run it, lead by example, especially you high command guys, Thompson and Snow. Both of you two, along with Rick, should be the examples of what cop RP is. You all should be showing them how to adequately address a scene, because when they train people later on down the line, they're going to teach people how to adequately address the scene, and so on and so forth. The new cops will keep being shitty if we don't teach them how to behave properly by behaving that way ourselves. That goes for every person in this room. When you're on duty, just put in that extra effort. Supervisors, maintain your employees, keep scene limits, keep force limits, follow your policy. It's there for a reason.
Okay. Another thing that I had. Yeah, I had another thing. But this is like way back from the conversation. I just couldn't speak up then. What's the plans about stopping all these unrealistic jumps?
What do you mean?
Doesn't.
No, hold on. What do you mean? Let me
Like,
explain.
Like recently, you've got criminal cars literally just taking like the rattiest jump off a bridge by using the bridge's rail guards to jump 150 feet up in the air and then jump into the canals. To me, I find that unrealistic.
But not only doing that, they'll jump into the water and then just basically let themselves die.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yep.
and if they're purposely sending their car into the water, and then like just with no intent or nothing like that, then yeah, that goes against the rules.
Yeah, that's that's fail RP.
Well,
But
if you
that bridge jump, I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I
if you
mean,
want to see it, the clips in the chat, the
It
clips in
is
the
a
chat.
video game at the end of the day, and we can also do the jump as well right behind them. Yeah.
Is that Wonders clip
Well,
you're talking
I
about?
can also
Yeah.
say, in a update we're gonna have very soon, we already have in our items table what items are marked illegal and what items are marked legal. When you force respawn and you see the light, quote unquote, EMS is going to yoink all of your illegal items. All of your illegal items are gone. You're not getting it back. There's no talking to EMS to get them back. They're just gone.
Also, if your car blows up or gets destroyed in the water, all of its shit just poof.
Yeah, that's going to come with the vehicle persistence update. With the vehicle persistence update, that's going to be a whole different ball game when it comes to cars.
I don't know.
So, watch this clip,
I just
and
find
I
that
see
jump.
absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I find it being a stupid jump.
It's okay. I agree with what you're saying in terms of if this were real life, that would be a stupid jump. But this is where we get back to that topic of we can only make it so real before it's not fun anymore. That kind of jump and stuff, that's perfectly fine. Literally, I don't think you can see hardly any like TikTok videos of GTA RP chases where they don't use some crazy ass stupid jump. It's just part of the mechanic. Knowing how to hit that jump just right, at the right speed, at the right angle, that's part of the skill of an escape. If we start telling criminals they can't do stuff like that, they're just gonna start shooting you guys more.
Ooh, on top of that, the shooting war, do we want to talk about that other thing we were talking about possibly?
Okay, so I feel like this audience is, while there are plenty of criminals in terms of like cops weighing in on it, they probably have the worst perspective, but I still want to get it. If you wanna pitch your thought on this, we can get their opinion on it.
So we were talking about possibly, because I've been on duty the past couple days, and I know that I've been in an ambush at least fucking once an hour for the past like 4 or 5 hours I've been on. It's been a lot. And it's not just one group. It's a lot of different groups. There's a big one. I'm not gonna say that there is a big group that does it most of the time. I won't name them, but
7 man deep.
Are you just gonna get one of every livery out?
It is quite controversial, and so we were talking about is possibly when it comes to emoji related charges and stuff like that, like shooting at cops or stuff like that, to throw the book at them. Do not give them time served. Do not. They are gonna get
Line them all up in the parking lot right there.
Stack. Don't
One right
be
next to each
reasonable.
other.
Don't stack 13 fucking emoji charges on somebody, but stack a couple, 1 or 2 or something on somebody to kind of make them, incentivize them to, when they go to shoot cops, there's an actual genuine last dire effort that is happening.
We had that in the beta once certain groups got.
That's where I got that from. That's where I stole that
Yeah,
idea from.
it was fire.
Real quick, I just want to say what Kilo was just saying is a proposal that we're talking about making, not what we're doing now.
No.
So don't start that shit yet. This is something that we'll have to talk to Hammer about most likely. This is something that's going to need some boss man approval. But yeah, basically, he wants us to. The idea is to come down harder on criminals who are just not fearing cops, because even though again it can't be real life, criminals really shouldn't have this cavalier I don't give a fuck attitude towards cops. At the end of the day, these cops can still raid you, they can still take all your shit, they can still fucking they can have you put in jail for fucking tons of months. And you should fear that. That should be a concern for you. You shouldn't just be like, fuck it, it's 50K, I'll go shoot him. No, so I'm on board with Kilo with this, and we're gonna go with at least some version of this idea. But what do you guys think of something like that?
Yeah, I agree with Asher for once, but I feel like we can use their judgment on when to fuck them over and when they're not. Like, we can tell who's a new player and who's not.
He has a point. It would create an unfair thing towards first time offenders. Maybe it's a new criminal, you get a little scared the first time cops chase you and you shoot. It happens. Hell, I've been in I hardly ever try to shoot cops if I can help it as a criminal.
See,
But I've been in situations where I've had
the
to
other
do
side
it,
of that
and it's
stick
usually
to-
been Thompson.
The other side to that stick for me is, as well as, you know, it might be their first time in the city or whatever, right? And they go to shoot the cop. When they get caught, then they realize real quickly not to do that anymore unless it's really, really dire.
Yeah, but then they're gonna be in debt. Well, actually, the economy's not that bad, to be honest.
I mean,
Okay, what if it was this? What if it was that the time served gets negated for emoji charges, and we increase the fine and maybe time?
Yeah, I would do that probably. Or we can stack it like.
Because I know a lot of people don't like time, but they, you know,
That
they can
just
live with
came
the
because it
fine
was
because
open.
that's, you know, that's just money that they can remake, whereas time is, you know, their life. So I understand the desire for that. That's why when I first became Chief Justice, I talked to a bunch of criminals that were around then, asked what they thought. That's why a lot of our charges are now high fine, lower time. But I'm also, yeah, as DOJ, I'm always looking for input on that too. That's a conversation for a later day.
Yeah, I feel like with the economy we do have, like
We'll
buffing
show them in
the
just a minute.
charges for like shit related to cops would be nice.
Okay, people brought that up before.
Personally, I get that, but I like, it's money at the end of the day. You can always make it back. The time for me, the time is way more important, and that's just the only thing. And I know it doesn't want to ruin on people's, you know, being able to play and stuff like that, but
I'm talking like an extra like 10 to 20 minutes plus like a hefty ass fine increase. I'm not talking about just like another 5 or 10K. I'm talking about like a major fine increase for this.
All right, I mean,
just because Berlin has a point. Stacking emoji charges on a newbie is rough. I would much rather it be a singular charge. Plus, as soon as we get into stacking charges, shit always gets weird. People start getting mixed up about what they can stack and what they can't. Next thing we know, we've got some dude who popped one round at cops who's suddenly going away for 600 months. Speaking of which, I was informed that someone was sent away for like 200 months the other day. You all cannot send people away for more than 100 months without following procedures.
Wait, who was sent away?
Who was it?
I don't know. I would have to actually be in city and be able to check my MD2. But
Medical
someone
man.
came to us with it. Well, it was something that was reported to staff. But yeah, basically, guys, you can't just be charging people with whatever. You can threaten them with whatever. You can be like, if you don't give me information, I'll give you 500 months. You know, you can do that shit. I don't care. You know, don't be a dick about it all the time, but you can do that. That's a negotiation.
Apparently it was Norman.
Was it Norman?
Yeah, apparently it was Norman.
Okay.
It was the old people harassing cops.
Oh, fuck him. He's gonna die soon.
GTA and evading. There's no way 300 months will come out of those two charges.
Oh, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, what the hell is that?
I'm hearing some Capdale Wonder. You're gonna have to explain yourself.
Wonder, was it you?
Wait, is that Wonder's old man character or is it part
No, Norman
Street?
is not Wonder's old man.
Oh no, is it
Norman is the guy who owns no, not owner. He's a manager at Coastal. This is all.
He got sent for 5 months.
We have a hard stop rule of 100 months unless you're command to prove more, right? Or DOJ.
Yeah. So it is a 100-month hard cap.
Yeah, unless you wanna be high command or command and justify it. I think, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me 100% give you an answer.
Come
so
to
I
me,
don't-
guys. I'll always okay it, no matter what. No questions
Ian
asked.
Brick Knight? Yeah, sure, man.
No questions.
100 months.
So it can either be approved by a judge or 2 members of high command / command.
Yeah.
And then things can be reduced or increased.
Oh, this guy killed a local. 600 months.
Remember Street.
Really quick, everyone, if you're not in my stream, I'm gonna go ahead and pop in my stream.
Yeah, he's gonna show you some of the new fleet.
Wait,
So we got these 2 cars have the new liveries on them so far. We don't have any more set up yet because it took us a while to even get these liveries developed.
So many changes on
liveries take
those.
time.
So many changes on
Yeah,
these
I tried
cards.
to tell you not to make him an 8K.
I don't make him
Listen,
8K. I
well,
I
you
build
gotta
him in
fix it too.
8K, but I drop him. Oh
You have to fix
fuck.
that too.
Yeah,
Nice,
I see it. I see it.
That does look good.
I see it.
That's the Blaine County livery.
Meh.
It's pretty solid. And all cars have that yellowish stripe down the whole center of the car.
Thompson,
Yeah,
just
The,
Ranger.
man.
the liveries are clear, so you can change the color of the card.
So help me God, I will ban you.
That's my idea.
So that's not what the car. You can make it look more green for sheriff or whatever you want to do. That's
Yeah,
just
so
the color
that's-
I chose on my car for state, but I changed it to the Blaine County livery so you can see what it looked like.
This is PD's. Yeah, police here, the blue flag. Fart and pull them away, but that's a nice little back to it too.
That Explorer is two-tone naturally, right? You have to paint it to be black on black.
Probably.
No, it's a one tone.
No, one
Oh,
tone.
I thought it was a two-tone.
Most of these cars are one tone, not two tone.
Do they have canine versions or do they have like?
I ain't even started on K9. I have an idea of how I want to do the K9 livery. I'm leaving them till last.
Yeah, so there's your answer. He's doing K9, they'll just be last.
Get to slap
K9.
So that's all the cars. And no, we're not just gonna slap crap on side of the cars. This is when we're doing it one time. I'm not touching these cars ever again.
Yeah, you all get
They're
these
right
liveries and you'll be happy with them. Or else.
If the slight,
If we just start slapping stuff on things, it's gonna be, well, now the car looks like crap, and we'll have to do it again later on, and do it again later on, do this, and let's just get them done. Get them done the right way. That way we don't have to touch them.
at some points there might have to be slight alterations.
It goes back to what I said before. So many times that we've put cars in before for when we do a new fleet, we half-ass parts of it and it gets messy. This time, Cap is whole-assing it the whole way through, and you get this car pack, it's just gonna work, and everything's just gonna be in place. There's not gonna be a whole bunch of nonsense.
Okay, Cap, I see it. I see it, Cap. Okay, I will fix it. I see it. I see it, Cap. Okay. It's because on the Blaine County, what big up Blaine County?
Oh, you left the green stripe on the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I don't think we did anything.
Okay, and I'm also missing the gray stripe on state. Okay. Or the what? Yeah.
Well, the 911's already white, so if anything, you'd make the rest of 911 gray and put a white stripe through it.
No, gray's accent.
I was saying
yeah.
that to make it match the other cars, it needs a stripe.
See, that would work in a sense, but because state's base color of that one line is gray, of a tone of gray, it would mix in with that 911, so they would both clash, and you won't see the 911 if I change that to gray.
That's what I was saying. Just make the stripe gray, but sure.
Should make all the license plates numbers. No letters.
Listen, there's a reason why state are admin plus. It's meant to be a role model position.
That's Jimmy.
Listen,
Okay,
don't
kicking
judge
in the
all of us because there's like one or two that are a little over the top. When I'm on duty, when Cap's on duty, like we're just cops.
We're also gonna be the plate numbers on the cars. Slick tops are gonna have standardized plates, like standard regular plates, because they can go unmarked. The ones with light bars, they're probably gonna have some form of thing, some kind of system. Can't think of what it is.
They'll say PD, police. There'll be something like that. They'll be labeled. Basically,
I'm kind of actually liking the number idea.
The reply to Figs' comment, the Durango is not PD. The Durango is state only.
That's slick top Durango.
Yeah, the Durango.
Brick 9, I will be driving that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
The light barred Durango is not.
we gave you all the Raptors. We got them.
Yeah, the Raptors were supposed to be state only, but PD gave us
I
those.
don't want to be state wonder. I just want to drive the Durango.
What's it called? 21C 320.
Now, one car I can guarantee you all will never get is the Lambo.
I guess
No,
that right.
but you know all the people that have gone up to it and third-eyed it already and getting a little.
Yeah, they get the little Rick roll. Yeah. I love that so much. That was originally done as a joke one night when me and Cap were just shooting the shit, talking about stuff, and we're like, it'd be funny to mess with people, and specifically talking about messing with Hammer, and that's where the Rick Roll Lambo came from.
You should have locals spawn and kill them.
I mean, local spawning and killing people might be something that an upcoming feature of sorts. Stay tuned.
Oh God, gonna boogie bomb.
No, Cap is working on some really cool stuff for, like, pretty much everybody right now, but specifically with the criminal stuff right now. There's some really cool stuff coming out, and some of it will also benefit PD. I think you all like it.
No, I didn't get it right. 47C3. 20.
And also trust that new stuff and development is getting done way faster now than pretty much ever before, if not for a very long time.
It's not spawning.
The car's still loading still, bomb right. 6 bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's loading some asset that's 78 megabytes, which is insane.
That might be the car.
One of them is the car, yeah.
Or it's not that.
We have plenty of cars that are that big.
Not anymore. Not after that optimization strike I did.
I don't know,
No,
man.
when I struck all that stuff, we don't have a car that's above.
Did we do that with all the one-of-ones too?
Every car in the entire server got hit with it.
Good.
Top
So
cars,
they got
ones.
one-of-ones out there. Go check your textures. They might be a little duller. You just have to look. Well, it's server optimization. One of the big
actual
problems with everything wasn't how many polys the car was. It was the damn textures being 4 and 8K for shifter knobs and dashboard clusters and shit.
Well, that's what the freaking thing was that trailer and that big thing.
Yeah, there's more shit loading too.
Fucking Freeman out here with his monster truck. His one-of-one monster truck.
Should've just went to the airport and spawned that shit.
But anyway, yeah, I completely off now. No, the Durango slick top is state only. The Durango Mart, as far as the light barred one, is fine. And I'm trying to spawn this light barred Durango so I can show you guys what the light bar looks like. It's a 27C type light bar. It's a kind of a thinner bar, but it's still got a really nice looking light.
Yeah, let's not go. Let's not go to the 21. 21 is way too big.
Yeah, 21C is too fat. It's one of the older bars that I think they used back in like the 2016, 2015, somewhere on there. These they put on, they're more standard on cars nowadays.
For those that don't understand, it's the light bar that's on that Hellcat police car.
Alright, the assets will be done downloading in about 10 minutes and Cap will show up.
W internet.
What's your cup?
Yeah, bro, just hook up to NASA. Come on.
You've been struggling lately with like streaming files and stuff.
I have a massive electrical storm rolling through my town.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
it's bad here too. Like it's been lightning and thunder's been non-stop for hours.
I'd rather have that than
My
this
camera's
fucking
extra
heat wave.
blind.
Do you want to
Waiting
trade?
for another piece of tree to fall.
Do you want to trade? I'll happily take the thunderstorm instead of this heat wave.
I've got both.
Okay,
We had
hold on. How
105
hot
degree
is it
weather
there
knocked out
during
my
that heat
AC.
wave?
Well, I don't know. I sleep through the day, so I don't have to deal with it.
Like 86 there. 100% it's like 86.
Yeah, no, I want to know, like, in your Imperial Nazi units, how hot is it?
Well, at the moment, it's 15 Celsius right now, with a 72% chance of humidity.
What is that in
What
American?
was it today? No, what was it today when it was hot?
All right, let
Not
me
what is it at 3 in the morning?
let me find out.
Because here in Texas, it was like
I'm
99
probably
or
gonna laugh
100.
in Texan.
Yeah, right.
Or 100 today.
Does anybody
Just
have
laugh in
any other
Southern.
questions so we can talk about? Real quick?
Uh,
Before we get way too off topic.
Yeah.
I missed the 100+ month thing. What's the deal with that?
So okay, there is a law in place that prevents regular officers from ever charging or ever sentencing a suspect to more than 100 months at a time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was done in an effort to curtail, coming into the city, you do some crime, and all of a sudden your next 5 hours are spent at jail. That used to happen kind of often. So if you want exceptions to that rule, it has to be approved by either a judge or 2 members of high command.
Not right now.
There is a law about it that has been posted up. It was the Custody Improvement Act. But yeah, it covers in detail all of the specifics, but essentially, yeah, no more than 100 months, unless approved. So someone the other day got charged with like 200 months off of something.
This is what I mean. The lighting on this vehicle is busted. But that's what the light bar looks like. Just one of the thinner type light bars. The lighting on this car is completely shot because of our back.
Okay, the answer to your question, Comroy. Today's heat wave today was at 22 Celsius.
All
right, so just to let you know,
71 degrees Fahrenheit? Are you kidding me? That's a heat wave?
You're worried about 71 degrees Fahrenheit? It is 88 at my house right now at 9 a.m.
Fuck
Did
that.
you say 9 a.m.?
9 p.m. she means.
9 p.m. Whatever. Tomorrow it is supposed to be 101, and then Tuesday is supposed to be 102, and Wednesday is supposed to be 103. And I'm not supposed to go below 100 till Sunday at 99.
Your frail British bodies. How did you all survive colonizing all those southern countries for so long?
Damn British people. I think it was 70s the heat wave. Oh, you would not survive in the South.
So I'm in South Mississippi, and it's 96 to 99 for the rest of the week.
Yeah, same here.
With but see, we also
we're
have
just
like
starting low 90s all week.
Texas on top.
But we have like 90% humidity all the time.
Yeah, we have. Today the humidity factor, the real feel temperature was 107.
Texas on top, you go
Yes.
You know,
With
Kilo.
humidity was 112 today.
You know how people say that Florida is America's wing? The bottom of Texas is the hemorrhoid.
You're right.
True.
You're right.
Not but for real, Texas is pretty cool.
Do we have anything else for this meeting to go over? So that we
Other
can
than
all go back to...
Just unless it's
I've covered everything that I really wanted to hit with you all. RP, following the rules, with the scene limits, with the matching force, with the times and fines. Make sure you're familiar with the laws that apply to PD.
I guess we'll go over this one more time. I never went over it in city, but there was only like 4 or 5 people on duty when it happened. Seeing the light.
Oh yeah.
No matter what, if you are a cop, if you see the light during a scene, do not come back to the scene at all. Even for your car, nothing. Do not come back. You are to either wait till you are either to be dead on scene and just wait till you get helped up. But if you would like to see the light, and you can, because I get being there dead for 30 minutes is probably not very fun, which is fine. You are allowed to see the light. But then you go to PD, get another car, and then you can go back out on patrol. You do not come anywhere near that scene at all.
That being said, do not see the light the second you can, just to avoid getting robbed.
That too.
Give the criminals, or if you're a criminal, the cops or whoever. Well, the cops aren't really going to loot you. You know what I mean. Give the people shooting you a chance to loot you before you go. Don't
And
just.
they can't take anything significant off of you.
Yeah, I mean, you're cops, so I mean, they're gonna take your ammo, they're gonna take your armor. Some of the dumbasses are gonna take your IFAKs. They're gonna take little shit.
IFAKs can be used by everybody.
Those shits are fire.
They shouldn't be.
They should.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can be
Criminals,
used by everybody.
criminals can use IFAKs.
Well, I blame.
You're not supposed to be
Thompson.
taking IFAKs
That needs
anyways.
to be fixed.
That's fire.
Yeah, so I've been having a lot of criminals pocket wipe me for all food, drinks, armor,
Oh, yeah,
IFAC,
they'll take your food and drinks. Yeah.
which I think is bull. They shouldn't be able to take drinks
I
and
think
food.
it's dumb. I think it's dumb that there's a medical item that's only locked like by having a police job. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that
Some
that's
handcuffs.
stupid. Like,
Well,
Well,
if you
then
have IFAX on you and I steal them, like, it's
Well,
an
I
IFAC.
mean,
Like, I
to
can
be
use
fair
it.
though, we are a bender. PD is a better funded source than a street gang.
also, the IFACs don't just provide a little bit of well, actually, anymore that doesn't really matter. Back when we still had all the stumbling stuff, they also provided the painkiller effect that would prevent you from stumbling.
correct.
I just don't think that it needs to go back to being fucking locked behind a job code, whether you have it or not.
I mean, right now they effectively work the same as a bandage, so why does it really matter?
No, they don't.
I just
IFAX
don't
on most
think.
things
I just
help.
don't think there should be two different like items. Like, if it's a bandage or, like, obviously you need it for the cop side, but what I'm saying is like, if the bandage is the exact same as an IFAC, it should be able to be used by everyone. It's kind of like armor. It's like if you guys had armor, your heavy armor, that could only be applied by cops. Like, it wouldn't make sense to do it.
Yeah. There's also charges that we can add for people having IFACs, like police equipment. It's how I
It's
find
government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no issue with it.
Just like if you all catch them with heavy armor, that's government issued equipment too.
Can we put PD like in quotes in that? Because I feel like most people don't really understand if that's PD armor or not.
Well, we have it. We have stuff that UPD'd that they can't take. All of our weapons, anything that's UPD'd, those are PD issued stuff that cannot be taken off of someone. If they are taken off of someone, it's to easily identify it. That way, they can be dealt with by staff team.
Except the taser, because not just PD has the taser. You still can't take the taser, but it just doesn't say UPD. That's the only exception.
Question on that taser, because I caught a off-duty EMS worker with a taser. They're not supposed to have those either, aren't they? Off duty.
Off duty, no. If you find that, let me or Winfrey know. We'll deal with it.
It's the same with cops. Cops aren't supposed to have PD issue equipment on them if they're off duty.
Except for their pistol. They're allowed to take their pistol. Yeah.
Your sidearm is.
So you can't have armor or.
You can have your you can have your armor and you can have your IFACs, but they won't work unless you have the job.
It's
talking about guns, nightsticks, handcuffs. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So just like evidence bags, nightsticks, stuff like that. Okay, got it.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter if you have the evidence bags; they can't be used anyways. So, like, it's really just really it only matters. Technically, the rule applies to all of it, but really, it only matters when it comes to those guns. That's at the end of the day, the guns, the handcuffs, the batons, the torches. That's the shit that we care about. Really, that's pretty much it.
Oh, I didn't know torches too. Okay.
Actually, the torches don't really matter because only cops can use those too. So, like,
I had a question. If we're off duty and we get robbed, is it bannable?
They can't take any weapons no matter what. No matter if you're off duty,
oh,
on duty,
you're talking about your Glock? Yeah, they can't take your Glock.
Take UPD.
I'm not. Oh, okay, never mind. That's boring.
Yeah, they can't take your Glock, even if you're off duty. Doesn't matter. UPD weapon. Into discussion.
And a lot of people have, I guess, had like, why do we do this? It's to prevent PD from turning into mobile loot bags, because they know we
and
have
also
ARs,
to preserve
we
the
have
gun
SMGs.
economy. Because
Well,
if anyone can just go up to a cop and get a free class 3 or class 2 just like that, I mean, it's literally just going to be, hey, let's go shoot a couple cops and get a full kit for everybody. Like it's just stupid. Like I know other servers do it and it works, but let's also be real. Not every server has the same player base, and our player base just doesn't play like that.
We got that rust. We got that rust mindset.
You can kind of gravitate towards like applying that by putting higher fines. Like I'll tell you right now, like if you put a 200K fine on having a PD gun, I might rob one like once, and if I get caught, I'll never do it again because I'm not gonna get fined 200K.
I call cap on GSF for robbing once.
200K.
I've been in servers where they allow it, and what it is if you get caught with the PD weapon or you rob a PD weapon and they wake up and they don't have it, it's an instant raid on all your properties.
Yeah, it's instant raid for everything. It's usually like that.
Yeah.
For everything else too.
At the end of the day, we're gonna stick with the system we have for keeping PD guns off the street. It has worked for us, and again, we also don't want it to just become part of the economy. We like the way we're developing our gun economy now. Some of you may not notice it, but it is getting bigger. We have plans. Kilo knows about some of them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we're trying
Well,
to develop that out, so you won't need to rob cops to get your guns. But that's definitely not
and
going
the
to be
same
something that
thing
changes
with
anytime soon.
and the thing with instant ran on someone having a UPD issue weapon, they're going to complain like mad with that. Right now, they don't complain because it's a state thing. Even a state, it's a federal thing of if you do it, you get warned by staff. If it's a whole thing of raiding, they're just every time a raid happens, whoever gets raided, no matter who it is pissed for like a week, seemingly. So that's
And then
just
they
going to
just go
piss
on a
people off
cop
even more.
killing spree.
And then it's going to be cops on site.
And that's another thing
And
we're going to be
then
touching
people
on
start
with
getting
gangs.
kicked, people start getting banned, and right now it's an easy fix.
Right. Your first reaction to getting raided or the cops actually successfully doing their job shouldn't be to just go shit on cops. Because all that's going to do is bring on more legal attention, more raids, more bullshit.
So,
but that's a gang discussion. That's not a cop discussion.
so even off duty, you can't carry your cuffs or taser.
Correct. You can only
Hey,
carry your
that's-
sidearm off duty.
I would say, I don't know about cuffs. Cuffs are usually bought by the person.
Cops have no. I don't see any reason for the way that our city works. Again, setting aside realism, I don't see any reason for off-duty cops to have cuffs. If they really need to detain someone, then they can carry some zip ties.
Well, I think at that point they would just do cuffs. Why do we need to make it to where it's zip ties? Because zip ties you can't take off. You have to cut them off.
You
Do
said
the
them a
same
pair of
rules
pliers
apply for
that anyone can
like?
get.
I would
The
say
same
no
rules
to the
apply to what?
taser because
If
you don't ever like.
you're
it's
off
on your
duty
belt.
and you're carrying your PD weapon and like someone robs you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so in your situation, let's say you forgot to put your taser away, you went off duty, you drove to the store, and someone tries to rob you, they still can't take your taser. Doesn't matter if you're on duty or off duty, PD weapons cannot be taken. It's a rule break. If it happens, grab their ID, report it to staff, and we'll deal with it.
Cool.
See, personally, I've never had
I
an
would
issue
say-
with any off-duty cops carrying their cuffs. I've never had.
Cuffs, I don't see a problem with that.
They
Yeah.
also
You can
just
put
don't
cuffs in a
work when
pocket,
you're
you can
not.
put cuffs anywhere.
No, they do work.
They do.
They do work.
They're
Not when you don't have the job.
When you don't have the job, but
Yeah.
when you're clocked off, the cuff still works. That's what I'm saying. I don't have an issue with PD if they're off duty and just having a good time. And
The issue with it comes from the fact that cuffs are a lot harder to get off. And in all honesty, why does an off-duty cop need cuffs?
you never know. One could be around and spot a criminal activity happening, and go in, get the takedown.
Okay.
No, they can't make an
You
arrest.
should
They
never
would need
go
to
in
call
and
someone.
get the takedown.
No,
when
but
you're
they
off
can
duty.
still
Absolutely not.
detain. They can still detain someone in cuffs while they're off duty.
Yeah, that's the thing. If there's like an example being at auto, if there's the store robbery right there and a cop is literally standing in front of the building, then he could probably do something about it. If it was one person standing there, he could probably do something about it and wait for MART units to show up to actually take the suspect into custody. He would need something to detain the person with being cuffed. I
What's
also
he gonna-
see it as you can't take a taser with you because the taser you're going to have on a belt somewhere. You can't just shove that in a pocket. Pistol, obviously that's on your sidearm and you're going to have a holster for it. Cuffs, you could stick them in your pocket. Plus,
It's not about the realism of whether or not they could carry cuffs. It's more just about the balance of it. Zip ties can be taken off by pliers that can be bought by anyone at any time at the hardware store. You have to have an advanced lockpick that you have to get from a mechanic that has to be on duty if you don't already have one to get out of handcuffs. And one of the
At the same
issues that we
time-
have run into in the past is cops who are off duty acting like just free range animals that feel like they can do whatever they want because they're not on duty.
That's
So
something that
them
needs to
only
take
being
the
able to use
supervisor
zip
and
ties
control.
is. Yeah, but we say that, but at the end of the day, supervisors already have a hard enough time keeping people in line on duty. Now we're asking them to
Here's-
also monitor their employees all the time when they're off duty.
Zip ties can't be broken. If you zip tie someone, they're done. You can't break it. You can break it.
There's a skill check for zip ties,
Yeah, pliers. You can cut zip ties off.
and
with
you
pliers.
can cut them off with pliers.
No, I think he means in the sense of when somebody gets cuffed, you get a chance to hit E and get that break cuffs. But with cable ties, you can't. There's no bar that pops up to stop the cable tie.
There should be.
There's not supposed to be.
Well, there should be, because someone shouldn't just be able to run up to you on the street and just slap zip ties on you, and there's nothing you can
Just
do
fucking
about it.
tackle you and zip tie you real quick.
Yeah, that's ass backwards.
Mid shootout zip tie you, one dead.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I'm about to catch a lot of bodies.
Fuck tackling. I'll be zip tying people.
The last time I got zip tied,
Yeah, I
there
guess
was a
I
skill
look
check.
at
It's
it.
been a while, but
The skill check needs to be changed.
yeah, the zip tie should have a skill check. Otherwise, it's just not fair to people.
Well, still,
Like hell, we give cops handcuffs a skill check. Why wouldn't we give citizens handcuffs a skill check? If anything, we
I
want the
only
cops
say
to be
that
more
because
effective.
the cuffs have always been a really updated thing. Zip ties have never been updated. Like I
Right.
haven't. That cuffs have not been touched since like way before 2.0. So the fact that the skill check works is surprising. Anyway, I've never seen a problem with a cop having duty, but not my call.
I don't know. Maybe other cops are different when they're off duty. Whenever I was off duty, I had no care to try to enforce laws because that's just a good way to get shot. But to each their own. I guess if people want to, it doesn't really matter. But if it ever gets abused, it'll just get taken away.
Okay, now I have two things that are completely different. First thing, do we have a way to stop or a fix for the tackles not being able to be used when the other person is carrying a gun?
That was intended. That was.
It was put in to prevent people from tackling with guns. The only
Anti-warlord.
people that can are cops.
Okay, because I've noticed a lot of crims are doing it now.
Yeah, they can't.
What? Tackling with a gun out? They can't.
No. Having their gun out so they can't get tackled.
Cops cannot tackle people with guns if that's supposed to be the case.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
so
c-
no,
yeah
that was
we
not intended.
yeah we can't tackle at all. So if a criminal has a gun out and they're just running for miles on end, we can't even tackle them at all. It actually
Okay,
tackles
so-
it reverts and tackles us.
Right, I get you. So Cap, that's a thing.
That was a birdie fix.
Was that Birdie? Okay,
Gun out,
of course.
W. Brody.
All right, guys, I have to wrap this up. Me and Kilo have another meeting that we have to attend to.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Say the Lord's name in vain. God.
I mean, I've been doing meetings literally like your meeting this morning, Thompson. They've been almost nonstop since then.
Must be nice.
It's not nice. It's terrible, but like this is a necessary step to try to get, stuff, worked out.
You're not management yet. Crazy.
Would you prefer I just hold one meeting, let everyone go at it all at once, half the points get missed, everyone argues, and nothing gets done?
Damn right. That's the best way to do it.
That's
All
why
right.
we're doing that part after I talk to everybody.
All right, my last thing. Out of the 2 points.
No. Yeah, that's what we're gonna say.
Have staff got an idea of way of enforcing the not fair and for life rule? So when a cop goes in, boxes a criminal in, and they've got 4 or 5 pistols pointed at them, like the criminal just tends to tackle and run away.
You know how boring that would make the server if that was a role.
Yeah, but it doesn't make
I
it
still
any.
don't know that I fully understand what you're saying.
It doesn't
exactly.
make it fun.
he's saying
So in terms, right? If cop gets put, if an officer has a gun pointed to them, they have to immediately obey that and put their hands up and follow along. But then if we do it back to them, their instant reaction is well, fuck it. I
Oh,
don't have to do it.
report 'em.
I'm just gonna tackle them and run away, because
Report 'em.
it's
Yeah,
a
it's called
it's
report.
it's a constant thing.
It's
Yeah,
not
like
called
the
a
other
report.
day,
It's
it's
we
not
tried
to
to
deal with it.
like honestly the other day triads tried to take a hostage, and it was some homie wearing green up at Benny's, and we were like, hey, put your hands up, bud, when you borrow your time, and he was like, I don't do that, so we shot him. Now you all don't necessarily have that perk, but you should report. Like if they're doing that crap, fucking report them, man.
Wait, you're saying report criminals for NVLing against the
NVL?
cop?
Yes.
Why would criminals do crime if they're gonna get banned for running away from a cop?
For NVLing?
Criminals
No,
do
no,
Yeah,
the
we're
way- the
not
way-
saying
the way
that
he-
they were
the way he was
chasing him. He
pointing-
points a gun and he stops.
No, the way Snow was pointing it out is like if you like say somebody has to do a foot chase, right? And they get out of their car and everybody tells them to put their hands up and they run away
Yeah, like what the fuck?
instead
Criminals
of
are
like
not
just
That's
complying.
fine.
That's part of
Because
the
they're in the motion of running away. If you were sitting in a dead car and you have 3 officers in your face pointing a gun at you and you're sitting dead in a car, don't freaking move.
But what? Well, that just stops the roleplay completely. Like that's what? That's never gonna be a thing in the server.
You have 3 guns pointed at you. Now, here's the thing: if their car died, they open the door, jump out, and start running. That's them running. They are
So
running.
Well, hold
If
on.
you're in the motion of trying to get away, you're fine. That's not NVL. You're in the motion of getting away. So if like I am driving down the road and someone pulls up beside me and goes, "I got a gun pointing at you. You better stop." Screw that. I'm hitting the gas and getting out.
Okay.
If you're in the motion of getting away, you're fine. If you are dead stopped with guns at you, 4 or 5 guns at you, am I not wrong?
You're tripping.
All right, just
What-
beanbag him then.
Yeah. That's
So
what
the
you're
way
doing.
that I
You're
initially
taking-
understood Snow's statement was a little different. So I actually am on a slightly different tack than that. Basically, what I thought he was saying was a situation where cops have gotten a guy, backed into a corner, no way out, bunch of guns pointed at him, and he still tries to like tackle them and like physically fight them while they have guns trained on him.
Just shoot
That's the
them.
part
Shoot
I was
them.
reacting to.
Shoot them.
But
Like,
what Thompson's talking about is you're in a chase, your car gets broken down. Of course, every cop's pointing guns at you because they do that the second they get out of their car in those situations. It is unrealistic to expect criminals to just put their hands up and give up, because then they never get a chance to escape on foot, because the second that they get out of their car, they have guns pointed at them.
That's
Yeah.
fine. If their car breaks down, there's cops around them pointing guns far away, run. The second your car breaks down, you're in the red dead car, jump out, run. But the other
Thompson, give me your-
situation is if the
I got
car
you.
is boxed in, you cannot get out of the car. Your door is slammed shut, and there's 2 cops in your window pointing a gun at you. A cop on the left, cop on the right, shoot all pointed guns at you. You are stuck. There is a thing in GTA that when you hit F to get out of a car, even though your door's locked, it teleports you out.
Right.
That'd be
Real
considered
quick,
like
Kilo,
gaming.
where are we going for this one?
I gotta find a fucking spot real quick.
I got you. Okay. What's a decent spot everybody knows, but that's secluded.
But to be
and cool?
fair, PD should be using, even if like every situation, no matter what it really is, unless it's like an AR really hot situation. If it's a situation, at least one officer, if you have 4 or 5 officers, at least one person needs to have a non-lethal weapon. Being a taser, beanbag gun, something.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
that
they
should be
box,
the first
tase
use
them and
case.
cuff 'em. It shouldn't be you get banned if you run away.
No, that's no one's saying that. Now, if you are completely on the ground, immobilized 100%, and you have people on you pointing guns at you, getting up and running away, yeah, that's NVL. That'd be NVL no matter what. If it's for cops versus crims, crim versus cop, or just civilian versus civilian. Because we had that situation happening quite a few times where criminals, like 4 or 5 gang members, would get around someone trying to take them hostage, and they're all pointing guns at them. They're kind of stuck. They're surrounded. at that point, you are screwed. There's no pulling guns, there's no running, because if you run, you're dead. That's not exactly, cops aren't going to just immediately start shooting at you if you start running. So it's a little bit different, but at the same time, they are like, you're being aimed at by weapons that these weapons are intended to kill. They're not intended to wound.
Yeah, but
The
Right.
taser and beanbag gun are intended to wound.
never mind. I don't want to argue about this more. Never mind.
I have a quick question. That's why I jump back in here.
Sure.
So MDT used to take a picture of criminals when you send them to jail. It's
Yeah.
no longer doing that. So do we need to start going back to taking a
I
mugshot?
noticed that.
Yes.
All right, 10-4. I'll let them know.
I don't know why it stopped.
Well,
I
in
just
in
noticed
a,
it the other day
in
when
the sense
someone
that it
mentioned when I
hasn't.
was on Doom.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped. It's starting to take a picture, so it's not acknowledging the player. It's only recognizing the wall, so it's only taking a picture of the wall.
Oh, I mean, I've pulled up criminals MDT on MDT, and this doesn't have anything at all. Like it just shows blank.
Well, if they haven't been arrested since before the MDT was updated, they might not. Because I'm not gonna lie, there was a time there, and Snow can tell you, I was harping on High Command constantly, where
Mhm.
cops were just sucking ass at documenting everything, dude. Like nothing was getting written down, nothing was getting documented, no pictures were being taken. Criminals were being sent to prison without like having their masks taken off and shit. Like it was just silly.
Like the Brick Night special.
Yeah, man. Like one thing cops seem to forget are those little touches to being a cop that we used to do that made it more like real without being too hard. Like making sure you take their gloves off when they get their fingerprint, making sure you take their mask off so you can positively ID them, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
When that gets forgotten, it's just a hole in the RP that, like, I don't know, it's an easy one to close and it makes it better when you do.
It's just like
There's
when
no
you
reason
take
not
them,
to.
when you put them in a vehicle or pull them out of vehicle. Make sure you tell them, "Hey, watch your head when you're getting in or getting out, so you don't bump your head." I do that every time.
And that's what I'm harping on, guys. Like that's the kind of interactions I'm asking for. Just the little touches that make it better. Kilo, you were a cop when, you know, things used to be a lot more like refined, I guess is a good term. Like just in terms of what they would
Yeah, you can give him a shout out. You can give him a shout out. I know he did some bad stuff, but Patel was a great cop. Most of the time.
Patel was a great cop.
Yeah, I guess.
In a lot of ways he was. You
I
have
know
to
you didn't
admit
like him,
that
CT member, but I mean,
That wasn't that. He was just the same character in both characters. It was fucking.
well, I mean, okay, let's be real. A lot of our people are.
Yeah, but like his voice was exactly the same. Like it was.
I will
literally just
say
Dallas
Dave
Cop.
Thompson and Josephine both argue with me about the same and
yeah, they
have
got the
pretty
same
similar
mentality. That's
stances.
crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
That's crazy.
It happens, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human, and I don't care who you are. Like, unless you're a world class role player, in which case, go get a job with Matt Mercer. You're not going to be 100% able to completely pull yourself out of the character. Everyone self inserts a little bit. That's just what RP is. And the servers that are like, you can't self insert at all, anything that's even remotely like you, or two characters that bleed, you know, you get bans. That's just not realistic, man. Your characters are going to bleed a little in terms of personality because they're both you, just without the fucking limitations of being a normal human being.
The only thing I wish that would be considered is that, you know, if you're in PD, say for instance, Sergeant Plus, you really, in my personal opinion, you shouldn't have a crim that is in a gang or a gang leader position. That's my personal opinion on it, because I'm having a lot of issues with a certain individual that I don't really want to discuss too much right now, but I have watched that whenever a group of people or a person flies in and starts doing criminal activities, that person will become an officer to try and do certain things, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean. I want to touch on this in 2 points. The first being that we do have certain rules against certain cops being criminals because it creates a lot of conflict of interest and a lot of bad situations. And it's not that they're not allowed to be a criminal; they're just not allowed to be in gangs. specifically because usually those are the ones that we have the most problem with that with. So for now, I don't think we're going to be restricting it to like sergeants and stuff, just because that would really, I don't think you realize how much that would cut into our police force once we
Yeah,
start getting
you
more
can
people in
imagine.
the city.
Well, I'm just talking about
Um,
like a gang, a leader position or a high gang position. I think
Well,
that
I mean,
would be a problem.
realistically, a gang leader as a cop can do the exact same thing that a gang member as a cop can do,
Yeah,
especially in the
there's some
scene that
difference.
you're describing. But as for the actual situation you're describing, I know exactly what you mean. Those situations are an outright rule break. If you can, I know it's hard to prove, but if you ever suspect it, you can at least point it out. If the same person is being suspected by dozens, or not even dozens, but just lots of individuals that all think he's doing the same thing, or she or whoever is fucking about, report it. We can investigate it. We can look into it. We have things we can use to identify stuff like that. And we also have seen it happen before, so we know what to look for.
By the way, I sent you the location.
Okay. We'll be en route. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just, it is what it is. It's shitty in some ways. It's tough, but it's one of those things that we just have to try to deal with. If you ever suspect someone is doing that, like I said, report it.
I mean, don't get me
Look
wrong.
into
I really like the person. Okay, I really like the person a lot. But some of the stuff that I've seen or come across, it really makes me wonder. It's not fair advantage to all, if you know what I mean.
Right. If that is happening, you're right. It is not fair to anyone because they're giving an unfair advantage to the criminals that PD is, working against in that moment. That person is supposed to be working as a cop. They're betraying that and they're unfairly giving an advantage to another group. I agree with you. Again, if you ever suspect that or have any evidence of it, especially, just let us know.
Right.
That's one of the things that like comes big with us trying to tighten up RP is, getting rid of people and, punishing people for, essentially violating the entire scene, by ruining it with metagaming and character bleeding and all this other bullshit.
Okay.
We will deal with it. But it's going to be on a case by case basis. We can't just blanket
Oh yeah, no.
every rank. We've tried stuff like that before. It always goes terribly. People get upset. People get mad. They don't want to not be able to do what they want to do, and it works out easier to just let it be.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, I
Oh,
understand.
that's
now.
down there. Uh-oh. Perfect.
Yeah, because I don't know. There's certain things that just irritate me with the whole gang situation and being PD. It's nice that they can see both sides of it. I get that, okay? And I've seen both sides of it. But when they start bleeding back and forth, that's when it starts becoming a serious issue for me.
I got you, man. It's one of those situations where it feels super shitty that it's happening to you, and it's really hard to prove that it's happening, and it just pisses you off a lot. I get it. I've been in those situations as a cop. The best I can say is that, again, we'll deal with it as we get the reports. We'll deal with it as we get proof, and we'll try to put an end to it as best as we can, because that's not something that we want either.
Yeah.
That being said, I do actually have to go now.
Okay.
But feel free, if you have any more questions, any more concerns, reach out to me. Let me know what's going on. If things are going bad, let me know. Report it to staff. Keep up the RP, everything we talked about, and we'll be good. Everyone who's